Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and like. Our series begins with Sol, a lawyer who only takes her job as a hobby for fun. But in reality, she's a superhero who goes around beating up anyone who bothers her. Like this guy, for example. She had recently broken up with her boyfriend, so she started meeting a new guy every day. Why? Because she hated men. She would make them fall for her, then break their hearts. One day, she ran into her ex while he was walking with his new girlfriend. She, at that moment, was with a guy she had just met 5 minutes earlier. So she suddenly pretended to faint between her ex and his girlfriend, just to lie down on the couch beside him, then got up and left. Now, that guy, Hyun, is a famous actor, a huge star in Korea. He was currently being honored and receiving an award for Best Actor in Korea. And this here is Jun, Hyun's friend, company president, and manager. These two are the parents of chaos. As for Sol, her relationship with her father wasn't great. As I told you, she didn't like men, and he was a man, so obviously, he wasn't an exception to her rule. She lived by the motto, strong, independent woman. At that time, she was going to give her father all the money he'd spent on her education because she planned to move out and live with her friend in a few days. She worked at a law firm with a college classmate, the only person she trusted a little. He was a bit of a fool, though. In his last case, the client didn't pay him in money, but in potatoes, and he kept eating them ever since. Then Sul got a call from that same client who said he was going to beat up the people who scammed him out of his money. She ran after him to stop him, but she ended up being the one beating them up, kicking and punching one after another, maybe 6 or 7 guys. Dear viewer, she broke all their faces by herself. Our girl is a ninja, a real ninja. Then the police showed up and said, "We came because we heard a lawyer and someone else were in danger. Do you know where they are?" She didn't answer, of course. After that, she went down and coincidentally found herself at the same hotel where Hyun was staying. He had just fought with the actress who worked with him in his movie, and Sul overheard him yelling at her, saying, "All women are like this, getting upset over anything. They belong in the kitchen, not in acting." Clearly, he didn't like women either. So Sol looked at him with that face that said, "I know who you are, and I'm coming for you no matter what." She went to meet her friend Yoon, whom she was going to move in with, and told her what she'd seen that morning about Hyun. She said, "That actor doesn't respect women or their rights." Yoon replied, "Are you sure? I really love him." Sol said, "No way, all men are like that. None of them respect women. Just ask my colleague, the potato lawyer, the only one I respect, and that's only because he's an idiot." Speaking of potatoes, that lawyer had tried to flirt with Yoon for a while, but when she held his hand, his girlfriend of 7 years suddenly appeared, caught him red-handed, and dumped him. From that moment, Yoon lost faith in all men, even Potato Guy. She decided to quit working with him and look for another job. The next day, she and her friend moved into their new apartment, though they had no idea how they'd pay rent since she'd just quit her job. Sol started going around applying to every major law firm in the city, but no one gave her a chance. Every time she applied somewhere, they said, "We'll call you later." She was frustrated, sitting outside with her friend, when suddenly she got a message from one of the offices she'd applied to, saying she was accepted, but it turned out that this firm was where her ex-boyfriend worked, and they only hired men. Very sexist. The next day, she went in all dressed up for her interview. By coincidence, yes, again, the actor Hyun was visiting that same law firm, since that firm specialized in representing actors. When Hyun walked past Sol, she remembered what he said earlier about women belonging in the kitchen. She was so mad that she stuck her foot out and tripped him, making him fall flat on his face. Then she pretended to be shocked and apologetic. Hyun said to his friend Jun, "Someone tripped me. I didn't just fall." Jun didn't believe him and said, "Who would trip you?" Hyun said, "Let's check the security cameras." Jun refused, thinking he was imagining things. Then Sul entered her interview, where she met Jin, the actress who worked with Hyun in the same company. Jin was actually the one who requested that they hire a female lawyer. Jin asked Sul, "Are you married?" Sul said, "Of course not." "Do you have a boyfriend?" "Nope." "How many men have you been with?" Sul said, "Not many, maybe 15. Jin said, "What? 15? The manager sitting there interrupted, "Let's skip this nonsense. Sul, I heard you've been fired from every other firm you've worked at." Sul said, "Yes, but I'll change this time." Then she suddenly started dancing and singing, as if she were in a music video. The manager looked like he wanted to fire her from the entire law profession, not just the company, but instead he said, "Okay, go home, we'll call you." On her way out, she met Hyun, who pretended he couldn't walk. She said, "So are you better after falling?" He said, "No, I'm still hurt. I need to go to the hospital." He was suspicious that she was the one who tripped him. She said, "Try moving your leg." When he did, she said, "See? It's not broken." He said, "I saw you filming me when I fell." She said, "That's not true." He didn't believe her. She gave him her phone to check, and when he found nothing, she said, "Happy now?" now, and left. Later, Hyun met up with actress Jin and Jun. Jin told them she was hosting a small party tomorrow and wanted them to come. Jun said, "Of course we'll come. Who could say no to you?" She replied, "That guy sitting right there," meaning Hyun, "he won't come. He doesn't like parties or hanging out with people. Honestly, I'm starting to think something's off about him." Jun said, "Don't worry, I'll bring him." Meanwhile, Seol was at home practicing and got a call. She got the job. She had no idea how or why, considering how chaotic her interview was. The next day, she happily went to the office, proud that she got the job over all those men who applied. She introduced herself to her coworkers and saw her ex again. The manager asked, "Who's going to show Seol around the office?" The ex said, "I will, of course." He showed her around, including the gym area. He asked, "So, are you seeing anyone now?" She replied, "Let's be professional. We're just colleagues. Don't ask about things that don't concern you." That night, everyone at the office was invited to Jin's party. Since Seol was part of the team now, she went too. They drank and laughed a lot. Her ex got drunk, and while dancing, his pants ripped. Seol went up on stage and made everyone laugh with her jokes and performance. When Hyun arrived, she sang and danced in front of him again, trying to make him forget about the fall incident, while showing off her hidden talent she'd been trying to suppress. But her ex, drunk as ever, came up to her and said they needed to get back together because he couldn't breathe without her. She grabbed his hand and was about to hit him, saying, "I told you, we're co-workers. Don't interfere in my personal life. Do I need to repeat myself?" Hyun saw the whole thing. Later, Seol found out that she only got hired because Jin had requested a female lawyer, not because of her skills or experience. That upset her. She went to the bathroom, and on her way out, she ran into Hyun. He said, "You were the one who tripped me, weren't you?" She said, "No, that wasn't me." He said, "I'll never forget the woman who made me fall." She froze and said, "Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to trip you." He said, "That's not true. If it wasn't on purpose, you would have apologized earlier, not only after I caught you." She said, "Fine, I'm sorry again. I did it because I kind of like you. I wanted to touch you, just once." He said, "Next time, treat the people you like more nicely." Then he left. If she hadn't told the truth and he had checked the security cameras, she would have been fired from her job, and then she wouldn't have been able to pay her rent. Even when Seol got into the car, she leaned her head against the door and fell asleep. When she woke up to the sound of someone's voice, she was shocked to realize it was Yoon's car. She immediately hid and overheard him talking to the driver, saying that he didn't like women at all. In fact, he hated them. When they reached his house and he got out of the car with the driver, Seol quietly slipped out too, making sure no one saw her. Then she saw him standing outside with a young girl who looked really young. When they went inside, suddenly a stone hit the security camera, breaking it, and the alarm went off. Yoon and the girl ran out of the house, and then Seol saw Yoon giving the girl some money before she left. Seol became suspicious. Soon the police arrived, and she muttered to herself, "Who is he? The president or something?" But then she figured it must have been a false alarm that would just be written off as a mistake. Seol left the area, but her thoughts were racing. She said to herself, "That's a young girl. He's definitely taking advantage of her. I have to save her." She called her ex, since he handled all of Yoon's legal cases, to tell him they should work together on this. He told her, "Let me think about it," while he was drinking heavily. Meanwhile, Yoon had an interview scheduled. When he arrived, there were a lot of fans crowding the entrance, and security was struggling to move them. Someone suggested calling his lawyer to come and help disperse the crowd, but his lawyer was drunk, so he told them to call Seol to go instead. Seol showed up, but instead of politely asking the fans to leave, she threatened them with lawsuits and jail time if they didn't move. When she went inside, Jun and Yoon came out to meet her. Yoon said, "I work with a lawyer. Why are you here instead? Are you trying to get close to me or something?" She quickly said, No, nothing like that. I just wanted to help you with anything I can, to make up for what happened before, so you won't think badly of me." He said, "I don't need your help." She replied, "I can work on anything. Legal matters, personal cases, whatever." He smirked and said, "Oh, really? You even know how to fight?" She smiled proudly and said to herself, "All right, I'll show him my skills since he's underestimating me." Then she suddenly grabbed his arm, twisted it, and flipped him to the ground in one swift move. "There, now you can walk away safely. You're welcome for the service," she said as she left. While leaving, she called her ex and told him she'd taken care of everything and that, starting from today, she would be working on Yoon's cases. She hung up but stayed near the building. After a while, Yoon came out. His driver was feeling sick, so he told him, "You can go home. I'll take a taxi." Seol stepped forward and said, "I can drive you instead." He looked at her and said, "You're still here?" She replied, "Honestly, my conscience has been bothering me ever since I made you fall. I just want to help you so you won't stay angry with me." He said, "I never told you I needed a driver," but she showed him her driver's license, and though he was hesitant, he eventually let her drive. He clearly didn't want to die, but he gave her a chance. Thankfully, she actually knew how to drive. He asked, "How do you know how to fight like that?" She said, "It's just something I picked up before becoming a lawyer. I learned a bit of taekwondo, some judo, some karate, just in case. But I didn't finish any of them because I got into law school, and well, law school builds character." He decided to test her driving, taking her through some tricky streets. Realizing he was testing her, she suddenly stepped hard on the gas, making him panic and shout, "I'm sorry! I swear I didn't mean it." He was terrified. When they arrived at his house, he asked, "How did you know this was my house?" She said, "GPS." He said, "Out of all the houses, how did you know which one was mine?" She said, "Pure coincidence. Fate, maybe." As she was about to leave, he said, "You can start working on my cases tomorrow if you'd like, but keep in mind, you only succeeded in becoming my lawyer. Nothing more. I understand you might be interested in me, but I'm a famous actor, so please don't get any ideas." She said, No, don't worry. That's not it at all." She left, happy that she got what she wanted. The next day, June said to Yoon, "Didn't I tell you to be careful with that girl, Sul? She might hurt you or make you fall for her." Yoon said, "Don't worry, I'm cautious. I'll teach her a lesson she'll never forget. Show her her place." But what he didn't realize was that she was the one playing him. June gave Yoon the script for a new action film with a director he'd always wanted to work with. Yoon dressed up and went to meet the director. The director told him he'd only be cast if he could fight properly, but when Yoon tried to show his skills, the director stopped him, saying, No, your style won't work. You'll have to train from scratch." Meanwhile, Seol had gone to stake out Yoon's house, still suspicious about the young girl she saw with him earlier. She wanted to catch him red-handed and rescue the girl if needed. While she was there, her phone rang. It was Yoon. She thought he'd spotted her, so she quickly answered. He said, "I need to see you now." She said, "All right, let's meet at your place." It was nearby anyway, so she agreed, but she stood outside thinking, what does he want? Does he think I'm easy or something? Then she smirked and said to herself, "Fine, I'll prank him." When he arrived, she pretended to be tipsy, drinking lots of lemon juice, and turned on her phone's voice recorder secretly. He said, "You look drunk. Let me take you home." She said, "I'm not drunk. I just fell asleep in the car on my way here." He said, "Come on, let's go inside." Inside, he said, "Show me how you fight again." She said, "Wait, is that why you brought me here?" He said, "I'll even pay you a consultant's fee when we're done." Then he suddenly lunged at her, pretending to attack. She dodged easily and kicked him hard, flipping him over. She said, "Are you okay? I didn't mean to hit you that hard." He said, "Weren't you just saying you liked me?" She replied, "That's different. There's no room for feelings at work." He asked, "So where did you learn all this?" She said, "I deal with thieves and shady people sometimes. I have to know how to defend myself." He said, "All right then, I want you to teach me. Be my instructor. I'll pay you whatever you want." She immediately agreed. After all, she'd get to beat up the man she hated and get paid for it. What a dream. She even drew up a contract with the amount she wanted, and he offered to pay 5 times more. He also said, "That way, I won't feel guilty about hitting a woman, since you'll be hitting me more anyway. Oh, and sorry if I offended you before. I didn't know you back then." She said, "No worries. I'm very excited to teach you how to fight." When Jun heard about it, he said, "Are you insane? Do you want to die? I told you to stay away from that girl. If anything goes wrong, we'll all be in trouble." Yoon said, "Relax. She's just training me. There's nothing else going on between us." Meanwhile, Seol told her friend Yoon, the female friend, that she'd become Yoon's instructor. Her friend said, "Girl, he's definitely into you. What kind of famous actor asks a random pretty girl to be his trainer? He just wants to get close to you. You'll end up training together, sweating, breathing each other's air, and one thing will lead to another." Seol cut her off. "Stop imagining things. I only agreed so I can smash his face and get paid for it." Now, about Yoon's new movie. The female lead turned out to be his ex-girlfriend, his first love, the one who left him when she became famous, while he was still struggling. After she left, he decided to dedicate himself to acting, and he eventually became more successful and famous than she ever was. As the saying goes, one day, the tables will turn. And indeed, she was crying when she found out he was the lead, and she immediately accepted the role. When Jun found out that the ex would be the female lead, he went to meet her before Yoon could find out. He asked, "Why did you agree to this role? Do you really want to bring back all those painful memories? You have a rich boyfriend now." She said, "I broke up with him." He said, "You must be out of your mind. happened. You took this role just to get close to Yoon again, didn't you? She said, I just want to apologize to him, that's all. I never had the chance before. He said, then quit the movie and apologize outside. I'll arrange it for you. She said, you're being too harsh. He said, no, you're the one being delusional. You think you'll find the same man you left 10 years ago? To him, you're the worst woman he's ever known. And honestly, it looked like she was the reason he hated all women, the emotional wound that shaped his attitude toward them. Meanwhile, Sool arrived at work, and her boss told her that Jin, the actress who'd gotten her this job, had crashed her car. She had drunk a lot of juice and got messed up, and someone explained to her about the prison there. They demanded a lot of food, and they sat and ate in the prison, I don't know how, and talked with friends. Jin told her, come again tomorrow. Honestly, she couldn't find anyone to talk to, and didn't know how to feel. She felt like she was sitting at home, not in a prison. John then said, your first love will be the heroine with you in the same film you want to act in, because maybe she's still into you. Unfortunately, Hyun was exhausted and had taken some calming pills. John told him, if you don't want to, we can withdraw from the film. It's fine. Hyun answered, why, I'll be the one to withdraw. And he had called Saul so she could train him again the next day. So Soul was still going to him and fell asleep in the taxi. The driver woke her. She went, Loya? His arm was broken. She had always been violently fragile, and I don't know what. She liked sleeping in the taxi, honestly. Then she started to cry and kept talking a lot, telling him what he should and shouldn't do. He told her, you know what? Stop talking so much. Let's start the rehearsal. Come on. He tried to rush at her. She grabbed him, pushing him, wiping the whole place with sweat. He said, calm down. I was joking with you. She told him, calm. She'll become your aunt, dear, and continued pushing him until he fainted. She got up, took his phone, and opened it to look for the number of the girl who had been with him. She found it saved as my princess. It was clear the press would call her. She threw the phone back into its place and told him, are you okay, Heba? The girl had arrived. Hyun was bleeding. Soul told him, I'll go see my brother's girl, see what she wants. At that moment, she confirmed that the girl was his brother's daughter, and that he loved her very much, and considered her exactly like his own daughter, which shocked Soul because she had suspected none of that and felt overwhelmed. When he came back, he said, come on, let's rehearse. She hid from him and asked, are we playing or what? He chased after her, and when he grabbed her and hit her, she told him, truce. He said, this truce will be your aunt, dear. Hit her. But he stopped because it would be shameful for a man to hit a woman. She told him, and you're hitting me like that? He told her to hit back. Hit me. Why are you stopping? I deserve all of this. She said, okay, then go. They left, and her friend called because it was her birthday anyway. He asked, is it your birthday today? Didn't you tell me? She said, never mind, it doesn't matter. He asked if she had any plans now. She said no. He said, let's go eat and celebrate. And they went and sat together. He asked her, since when do you know how to kill? She answered, our street used to scare me. My friends and I were always frightened. When I told my father, he told me to leave that other street, so I decided not to leave. I went to learn martial arts, and I watched a video on how to become a fighter in 5 minutes on YouTube. She went back to the street and grabbed that man and broke his face. He stared at her in astonishment, like, how can she be a girl? You gave up your innocence for killing? He said. She replied, well, and told him, I like you. Oh, you like me? He said. How can someone be into you? You're a good actor, she told him. He said, since it's your birthday, I'll give you a present. One date with me. She replied, no need. Don't bother. He insisted, no trouble at all. She said, this is the last time. I must go. As she was leaving, he said, I'm sorry I hit you on your birthday. And he hugged her. He was surprised they didn't have a panic attack. And then he continued. Then he tasted the raisin. It's clear that whenever someone gets close to a woman, he gets a panic attack and is afraid to get close to any girl for that reason. Then he pushed her and said, this is X's level, to pamper my fans. She told him to stop with that talk. He said, I wish you would keep what happened as a sweet memory. She asked, what memory? What memory is this? This memory will be like your cousin, he said. Are you preparing me, courting me, making me coffee, and then calling it a memory? Wait until I tell you, I'm not even into you. I actually used to hate you, and I believed everything that women said about you. She asked, how can you say that? He left and walked away and said, let me be a beautiful memory to you. Forget my heart. The next day at work, Hyun was talking to the office manager, so she wouldn't be put on any case again. Later, John found out he had spoken to the office and told him, didn't I say don't? You should have listened to me. Is she going to stay with you, or what? This is your time, Hyun said. No man, she won't forgive me. She hates me, nothing more. They hadn't even finished. They did a scan on Hyun, and it turned out he wasn't arranged changed like that because he doesn't like women at all. Also, he's linked to his friend John, and his film's production stopped and the investors pulled out. Hyun stopped leaving the house. Neither he nor John did after the scandals and the silly rumors. John said, "Why don't we take it out and tell people about your old relationship with the same girl who's acting with you now?" Hyun said, No, that won't work." The next day, John went to him and brought along. Hyun told him, "You two are basically lovers now. Is this all just stories? Isn't it an image like this that makes you stop acting and even give up the film you love?" Hyun said, "Fine, thanks for your concern, but our meeting is over. You can leave." He hugged her and she said, "I missed you so much. Leave," she told him in a teasing way. "First love is gone and left behind only the worst memories, so don't be a pig." And he left. John took her and left. On the way, they received a message from a journalist saying he had a photo. If it was published, it would ruin them. John went to him and sat with him. The journalist bought those photos for a lot of money, but it was a shame no one else could get them. John knew the journalist wanted money, so he told him to sit and he'd give him what he wanted. Sue and her friend wanted to unwind a bit, so they went to Layla's place. There they met a man who was taking drugs. Sue took a picture of him and called the police. Then they tried to leave, but he wouldn't let them go unless they drank with him, and he insulted them. Sue's group, attacked him and his gang and made them into shawarma. The police arrived, and they were like that, and John went to Hyun with the photos and told him, "It's clear she framed you. You were working. Didn't you get a panic attack when you got close to her?" Hyun said, "No." John asked, "Then why didn't you finish with her, idiot?" Hyun said, "Not every fan wants to go out with me." While he was looking, the photos rang him. She called and apologized for what had happened, saying she was sorry for ruining her birthday. John had overheard the call and called her too to meet. When she went to him, he told her, "I heard Hyun treated you badly, but I hoped things would be okay between you." She asked, "Do you want to be direct?" He said, "Look at these photos." When she saw them, she said, "I'll press charges against whoever took them." He said, "No, I don't want you to do that. We'll publish the photos and say Hyun is linked to the person in the picture and that you were with him for 3 months. We'll give you $70,000. After the picture was published, everyone wanted to know who the girl was because she was photographed from behind. They went to Sue. Her friend called her in a video while she was running, asking, "Who is that in the published photo? They say you're promised to Hyun." She answered, "Yes, unfortunately, I promised him." They said, "So you started dating the person you were seen with a few days ago, and where did you get that money?" She went back to her friend, and when she told her what Hyun had done, her friend got upset with her and said, "So you sell yourself for some money?" She promised to try to really court him. Hyun called her, he was downstairs, and thanked her for helping him. She said she hadn't done anything for free. He asked, "Can we continue the training?" She said, "Okay." He told her, "You're beautiful, by the way." She said, "All right, thanks. That's enough." But Sue wasn't silent. She found the company where Yoon works and went there. She told them she wanted to meet the manager and said something like, "Soon you'll drive and he'll understand." The manager came out and told her, "Let's talk somewhere else. We can't do it here." When they sat together, they showed him the contract and he said, "We'll provide housing, but I can't compromise her privacy for $70,000. She asked, "How much more do you want? Because I don't want trouble now." He said, "Do you think I came for the money? You're wrong. I came to rescue my friend from what she's in." He apologized. Yes, he had been wrong. Back to Sue and Hyun. They went home. Hyun had created the most romantic atmosphere. Flowers, candles, cooking, the relationship directly. She told him, "You did all this, and honestly, I couldn't stand that I hated you so much before. I didn't post a comment, and I felt bad before, and I never loved you. But the first time I saw you, everyone thinks one day they can make the other love them, and then betray them and break their heart." They agreed to call each other affectionate names in public, like, "What should I do, my love?" "Thank God, my darling." And they took some pictures together. Everything continued. Only remaining was to go out together in public, so everyone would know their romance. He pretended she was asleep in front of the house, so he could carry her from her intoxicated state and such. He shook her hard and told her, "Wake up, we've arrived." And it was the moment she had been waiting for. The next day at the company, the manager treated her respectfully and said, "Whatever displeases you about the office, we'll change it for you because we don't have anyone more valuable than you." Then she got a call. She asked, "How are you going to promise Hyun? Surely he's tricked you." The question came up that she had doubts and that it wasn't that important. And when she went to talk to him, he brushed her off. And at night, they discovered that the lead actress who was supposed to replace Daniel X turned out to be pregnant and wouldn't be able to work. So Hyun immediately called Sue and asked her to take the role instead. She was overjoyed. It seemed she had always dreamed of acting, but she was only meant to be a stunt double, nothing more. more. The next day, she went straight in, signed the contract without hesitation, and acted in her first scene. It involved falling glass and such. Everyone rushed to check on her, but she stood up smiling and said, "Well, did you like it?" Then she stood with the crew to get to know them and even showed them some of her fighting skills. Hyun was watching her, happy and proud. He said to her teasingly, "Aren't you going home, love?" Everyone laughed and congratulated him, saying, "Why didn't you say so earlier? Congrats, man." They stepped aside and she whispered to him, "Should we show them how we keep our promises?" And then she went close and hugged him. Yoon, the other girl, saw them and her face stiffened. To make Yoon even more jealous, Hyun walked Soo to her car and made sure she got in safely, something Yoon found odd since they were supposedly just acting. The director later told Yoon that they wanted Soo to stay on the project. He called Soo and offered her the continuation, and she cheerfully accepted, saying, "Sure, I agree. I'll have them change my work schedule. They'll listen since they treat me specially because I'm supposed to be your girlfriend." Hyun laughed and said, "Then maybe we should keep it going if you like this arrangement." Then quickly added, "Wait, what am I even saying? I'll talk to you later," and hung up. When Soo went to her office the next day, there was a big problem. Jin, her lawyer, told her she had been fined by another company, one that Jin had done advertising for. They claimed the campaign caused their losses, and the fine was huge. The manager blamed Soo and left her to deal with it alone. The next day, she went to confront them, saying she wanted to see the sales report to check if there had been any actual drop. They refused, saying they weren't obligated to show her. She told them fine, she'd make sure they were forced to show it in court. After a long argument, she managed to negotiate and cut 2/3 of the fine. Back at the office, her manager was thrilled with her work. "You're amazing at your job. Smart, talented, and also Hyun's girlfriend. How do you manage all that, girl?" She rolled her eyes and said, "Oh, stop teasing, boss. You'll jinx me." The next day, she went back to the film set, bringing her friend along. Her friend wanted to keep busy. Whenever she stayed home alone, she just kept thinking about John. At the set, one of the staff whispered to Soo, "Everyone here dislikes you. They say you're only working because Hyun likes you and gave you the role." The rumor spread, and soon the whole set was treating her coldly. Later, while filming, Dan X, Yoon, went up to Soo and said, "You know, Hyun's a good person. He can separate his personal life from work." Soo replied, "Yeah? And what's that supposed to mean?" Dan said, "You really don't know?" Soo frowned. "Know what?" Dan smirked. "You don't know that Hyun and I used to date? We were each other's first love." Soo froze. "No, I didn't know." During one scene, Hyun was tied with ropes as part of the stunt, with several people pulling. One of them lost focus, and Hyun slipped. If he fell, everyone tied to him would fall too. Soo ran up the stairs, grabbed the rope to steady him, but ended up falling herself down the steps. She was shaken badly, so they rushed her to the hospital. She had a wound that needed stitches. When she woke up, Hyun was sitting beside her saying, "Are you okay?" She said, "I'm fine." He snapped, "Are you crazy? You could have died. Why did you do that?" She smiled weakly. "Someone had to get hurt. Better me than someone else." When it was time to go, there was no ride back, so they stayed in a nearby hotel. There was only one room available. Soo said, "What do you mean there's only one room?" He replied teasingly, "You think I bribed them for that?" They ran into Dan in the lobby. She asked, "Are you all right?" Hyun said sharply, "No, she's not. That's why she'll be staying in my room." Dan smiled politely. "That's fine, as long as she rests." When she turned to leave, Soo said, "Maybe I can stay with you, Dan." But Hyun interrupted, "No, I'm worried about you, so you're staying with me," partly to stop Dan from getting closer again. Upstairs, he asked, "Did Dan say anything to you?" Soo said, "Like what?" "Like, that I used to date her." She looked at him. "Yeah, she told me you two used to go out." He sighed. "Yeah, that was a long time ago. We both moved on. No feelings left. Anyway, you take the bed. I'll sleep on the couch." She said, "No, that's not fair," and made him take the bed while she took the couch. When he stood for a while, she asked, "Something wrong?" He said quietly, "I've never met anyone like you before." She asked, "What do you mean?" He said, "There were lots of people there. Why did you risk yourself? You could have asked any of the men to help." She replied, "Why should I? Just because I'm a woman? Listen, sir, if someone's in danger, whether it's you or someone else, I'll act. It doesn't matter who it is." Later, as she slept, he sat beside her, gently held her hand, and whispered, "I feel like I'm doing something wrong, but I've never met anyone like you before. All the women I've known care only about themselves. No one has ever done what you did. I really like you. I love you. I want this acting between us to never end." He was talking to himself, thinking she was asleep, but she was awake the whole time, smiling quietly, and saying under her breath, "What are you doing, silly?" He stammered, "I just came here to make sure you didn't roll onto your wound." She replied teasingly, "The wound, huh?" Meanwhile, the director was reviewing the scene where Soo had fallen, praising her dedication. He told Hyun that they wanted Soo to shoot more scenes once she recovered. Hyun said she was still injured, but the director replied, 10 days and she'll be fine. When Hyun told Soo, she agreed immediately, saying, I'll recover in about 10 days anyway, 2 weeks max. He said, I don't think you should do it. What if you get hurt again? She said, what's wrong with your tone? I don't like it. He replied, I'm just worried about you. She teased, we're only acting. Don't start what I think you're starting. But dear viewer, that night, she had only pretended to be asleep. She heard everything he had said, and even liked and subscribed to his YouTube channel. The next day, she told her friend everything that Hyun had whispered. Her friend laughed and said, you little player, you've got him wrapped around your finger already. When John heard about it later, he scolded Hyun, man, are you living in some missionary era? You confess your feelings to her while she's asleep? What if your voice echoes in her head all night? Why didn't you tell her while she was awake so she could actually hear you? Hyun got annoyed, but John said, if you're that bothered, call her. Talk to her face to face. Hyun said, no. So John grabbed his phone and called her himself. Hyun jumped up, trying to take it back. Hyun called her and asked where she was. She answered, and he told her, I need to tell you something. Where are you? She said, I'm shopping. He replied, come to my house. I'm sick and can't breathe. So she went there, and the four of them were already present. The atmosphere was tense and heated. No one understood what was going on. Then Yoon told Soo to come see the house, and when she went with him, he asked her, why doesn't she like men? She said, maybe because her first love was with me when we were young, but we didn't really know each other. After that incident, we became close friends, and that traitor disappeared completely. Meanwhile, Jong was sitting with Soo. She asked him, why did you think Hyun was the right person for me? He said, because he likes you. He's had a problem ever since he believed that you visit him often. If he gets close to any woman, he usually needs medication, but you're the only one he could get close to without it. Just one woman. You? She kept thinking about what Jong said. A few days later, there was another filming session. Soo went and acted, and they really liked her performance. I told you before, her dream was to become an actress. After the scene, the director told her, you should train more so you can continue in this profession. Everyone heard when Hyun confessed his feelings to her. He told her, I thought you were asleep. You should ignore people like me, not make it easy for me to fall for you. Don't you have any feelings for me? She said, I won't lie. I have a few small feelings, but it can't work. You're a star, and I'm just someone doing minor supporting roles. I'll stay until the end of our contract, and that's it. It would have been easier if we could control our hearts. But what can we do? Dear viewer, it's painfully foolish. He asked, so if I quit acting and became an ordinary person, could we be together? She said, even then, you'll always be Yoon Hyun, the famous actor. Let's end our story here. That same day, there was a celebration for her mom, who worked as a writer, and whose latest book had just succeeded. I just found out she's still writing, by the way. Jong also attended. She's an actress, yes, but also Soo's friend. Someone asked her, where's Hyun? She replied, he probably still has filming. Then Soo's parents asked, where is Hyun? Isn't it rude for him not to show up when he's dating you? Jin asked her, did you two fight? Soo said, no. Jin replied, then you must have fought, and called Hyun to tell him about the celebration, saying, you should come meet Soo's family. Later, Soo went looking for her, and when they came back, Yoon was there. It was unclear if he'd been in another room or what. Soo's father said to him, how can a famous star like you love my daughter? She's stubborn, yes, but she's kind. Yoon said, I respect her deeply and learn from her too. Anyone who knows her would love her. She's the best person I've met in my life. After they left, Yoon asked her, are you upset? She said, no. I'll even come home with you so we can talk more. On the way, he asked, was everything I said to your parents true? She said, that's why I'll repay your honesty by officially being with you. They went home, had some raisins, then made a yogurt smoothie together. The next day, she went to Jong and gave him his payment. Since she was now officially dating Hyun and didn't need the acting contract anymore, she told him, I won't spend any of this money. Her life had changed. She wasn't the same anymore. She started going out, singing, feeling happy, and succeeding at work. One day while at Hyun's, he told her why he'd always been hesitant to get into relationships, because his mother used to exploit his father and only promised him love for money. When his father went broke, she left him. Even his ex-girlfriend left him once he became famous. That's why he never wanted to get involved again, until Soo came and changed his life. She was touched by his words. And yes, they made another yogurt smoothie together. The next day, she met Jong and told him, we've done our part. Since Soo and Yoon are now together, there's nothing left but for us to move on too. Honestly, I like you, but you're rich, and I'm not. You shouldn't be with someone like me, so help me stop seeing you, he said. What are you talking about? I was planning for us four, you, me, Yoon, and Sue, to hang out together, she said. No, unfortunately, that can't happen anymore. Goodbye. Later, she went out with her ex, who worked with her at the office, to clear the air and apologize if she'd been harsh on him or made him feel insignificant. But he kept drinking too much, so she told the others to take him home so he wouldn't get lost. Hyun called her during that time, then went to see her, clearly jealous. She went to his house afterward to calm him down and show she wasn't giving attention to her ex anymore. They reconciled in a rather unusual way, but we won't comment on people's personal lives. She told him she loved him, and he said he loved her too. The next day, they filmed the final scene of the movie. Hyun ended things with her completely so that she wouldn't have any hope left of getting back together. After that, Yoon invited her to another party. Of course, Sue also planned to attend, but Yoon-soo, the other girl, refused to go because she didn't want to meet Young. The party went well and everyone was happy, but, as always, good things don't last. While they were there, a rumor spread about Sue that she'd been spending her time in nightclubs, meeting lots of people, and cheating on Hyun. But the truth is, she wasn't cheating at all. He already knew everything about her. Everyone at the party kept staring strangely at Yoon, and he didn't understand why. Yoon called Sue and went to meet her there, but she ran into Jong, who refused to talk to her, so she went to find Sue to take her home, but Yoon didn't want her to leave. Jong then said, "We'll fix this problem. Let's all stay together tonight." Yoon suggested, "Let's go to my house," but Jong told him, "There are probably too many reporters waiting outside your place," so they all went to Sue's house instead. Yoon was furious, saying, "If I catch anyone spreading these rumors, I'll ruin them." Sue tried to calm everyone down, saying, "Let's just go downstairs, buy something, and give them time to talk." Their friends weren't really paying attention to all this drama anyway. When Jong and Yoon came back, everyone started playing together, trying to lighten the mood. But the next day, the comments online exploded. Everyone turned against Sue. People were calling her names in the street, throwing eggs at her, bullying her. She stayed silent and walked away, refusing to respond. Then, the investors pulled out of Hyun's film, demanding their money back, and the movie's release was postponed until the situation was resolved. Even at Sue's workplace, her boss wanted her to resign because of the scandal. That night, she went to Hyun's house. She found him calm, cooking, and acting like none of it mattered. She said, "If we don't break up, people will keep hating me, and your career will be destroyed. Instead of fighting until we eventually split up, let's end things now while we still love each other." He said, "What if there's another way?" She replied, "There isn't." He insisted, "We can fake our breakup and stay together in secret. I can't live without you. Why should we let people control our lives? No matter what happens, I won't leave you." The next day, news outlets published a story that they had broken up. Jong went to Hyun's house to comfort him. "Are you okay?" he asked. "I'm fine," Hyun said. Jong told him, "I'm your friend. If you ever need me, I'll be there." When Jong left, Sue, who had been hiding, came out. Hyun said, "Let's go eat." After dinner, they spent time together. Later, Sue went out again, and Yoon followed her so she wouldn't be seen. But people spotted him going in and started waiting outside until they were done. When Sue came out, reporters rushed to her, saying, "You're a lawyer, right?" She said, "Yes," and tried to call Hyun to warn him not to come out. But it was too late. He had already followed her. They accused them of lying about their breakup. Hyun grabbed her hand and said, "Let's get out of here." The next day, the media attacked them again for faking their separation. Jong went to Hyun, angry. "You should have told me. I'm your manager and your friend. I was trying to protect you too." Hyun said, "Then help me, man. Everyone's turned on me." Jong replied coldly, "Who said I'm still your friend? You're on your own now." Meanwhile, Sue went to sit with Jin. While they were talking, they saw Hyun holding a press conference. He publicly apologized, saying, "I'm sorry I lied to everyone, but I can't give up the only woman I've ever truly loved. Sue, if you can forgive me, please marry me. I love you. And if I have to quit acting for you, I will." Sue watched the broadcast, then opened the door and went to him. When she arrived, she said, "Out of all the people I've ever known, Hyun is the best. That's why I can't stand to see him get hurt because of me. We have to end our relationship now," she added tearfully. "I'm leaving you because I love you. Our relationship was beautiful, and our goodbye should be beautiful too." After that, people's opinions started changing. Many began to support Sue, realizing she was kind-hearted and good. But still, Sue fell into depression. She drank a lot, and her friend, who had always been strong, cried with her for the first time. Then, Hyun's ex appeared on a TV interview, speaking kindly about Sue and taking responsibility for his part in the scandal. Her co-workers, who had been planning everything behind the scenes, helped change public opinion completely. Soon, people accepted their relationship again. I don't know what kind of relationship depends on public approval, but anyway, her friends told her, call him, so she did, and found out he was already standing outside her house. She went down and asked, how long have you been here? He said, why did you call me? She replied, my feelings haven't changed, only the circumstances have. He said, circumstances can always change again. She asked, so you want our relationship to stay over? He smiled and said, didn't we agree on a peaceful goodbye? She started crying. Then why did you come here? Just to tell me we're never getting back together? He said softly, you're crying? I was joking. She hit him while crying and said, you're joking? Do you even know what I've been through just to end up in your arms again? He held her and said, everything will be fine. Their relationship became official again, and no one bothered them anymore. They went together to the premiere of the movie, the same one that had caused all the chaos since the start of the series. After the screening, Jong did a very old but romantic move. He knelt down in front of everyone and said to Yoon, will you promise me, my love? They agreed to get married, and after some time, they finally did. Our series ends here. Please like and subscribe. See you in the next drama. Goodbye. Rio starts to run and enters the school. At that time, a student appears, but he is surprised by her and she bumps into him. After the student tells him that she figured him out, she walks away. After that, Rio notices that he is sitting on